everyone, and welcome to the Voice Mood. I'm your host, Olivia Peck. I'm your local millennial voice teacher. Today I'm answering your questions from the week from the YouTube channel. And if you have a question about singing, drop it in the chat and I will do my best to answer. We got a great show today. I am actually very excited. I'm always excited, but today we have some meaty questions. If you want to become a better singer, you've come to the right place. I try to simplify some stuff, and today I think we're really going to get to the heart of what exactly you should be working on, which is like the number one question when you start to sing, right? So, without further ado, we're going to get started, and I hope you enjoy. And make sure that you are subscribed if you do regularly watch these Q&As because we don't want to lose you. I want to make sure that you know when we do these things. Okay, let's start with the first question, which is really going to be a big topic of the day. Okay, so we have two kind of the same question right in a row. Sometimes I want to know all the science, and then sometimes I just want to be left alone to sing. Relatable. All right. And Daddy Dragon also says it's a hard balance. The reason why I sing better when I watch Cheryl Porter, vocal influencer, is because I have fun with her methods and warm ups. And then I love my voice and sing so good after her videos. Singing is feeling in spite the necessary science. I really love this comment, and I'm going to read another one that is along the same lines. This was on a warm-up video. Ghost Dragon 499. Wow, lots of dragons here. This is a great warm-up. Another video you mentioned trying to learn one thing at a time with singing. Is there an order you would say is best? Trying to break down my learning into small bits. Oof. Okay, so these are some great points, and I absolutely love what both are saying. And the first comment is like, hey, I love the science. I love it all being explained. And this was on my overthinking video, overthinking singing. And basically, I'm saying, hey, you just got to do it. You just got to start. Don't overthink your sound too much. Get to the heart of it. Just sing. And Cheryl Porter, she's great at this. She's great at just getting people to sing and not overthink it too much. You know, literally her videos, you click on them and you're singing, you're doing some sort of vocal workout. And I think that is extremely effective because you're not in your head too much, you're just going for it and they're fun. And when you're having fun, you're probably not tensing up too much. So I really love Cheryl Porter, and she really knows how to teach. She's a classically trained singer. Pretty sure she speaks fluent Italian because she studied in Italy. I don't know if she's lived, how long she lived there, but she's a real deal. So I really trust her a lot. And if you want to get out of your head and just sing, I think her videos are great. Now, if you are wondering, okay, but I'm working on this song. I need help with it. Like the second commenter asked, well, then we're looking at what order should I go in to work on this song? I mean, there's so many ways to work on a song. And a lot of people, let's be honest, they just sing through it and they're like, that sounded bad. And they're tired. So this is an order that I'm going to show you that I learned growing up and I still use to this day, and this is how I teach. Now, when you practice, you really want to hit all of these things. The more of these things you hit, I promise, the better you are going to be as a vocalist. Okay? You skip one of these, it's okay. But I really made this detailed and tried to hit everything. So, the underlined things are things you really can't skip. You want to warm up with a purpose. You want to practice the song and you want to break it down into bits. You don't just want to run through it and cross your fingers. Okay. Now, if you add ear training, if you add more agility in your singing, then you're going to become even better. Your vocals are going to be even better. So, I'm going to go through this with you today to make your life a little bit easier and to give you some guidance. But I want to tell you something. So, I am a teacher who typically these days is teaching adults, beginner adults, and I absolutely love it. But the thing is, a lot of adults, they're just trying to sing better for their spouse. They're not trying to enroll in some classical singing 4-year university degree. And so that's why typically I I listen with my trained ear and go, this is what you specifically need to work on. This is what the missing puzzle piece is. However, they are not necessarily going to get this full context that I'm showing you because although, it would be great, there's just not enough time usually. And, these are people who might study bi-weekly. So, but this is a whole thing. So I'll show you again and we'll go through it again. And we have a comment here. Sing your lowest note. I love the chat. I love this. I don't know. Let's see. The last part, I don't think that was real singing. Ooh, all right. So great question. Great question in the chat. I love the questions. All right, so let's break this down a little bit. And I'm going to try not to blab on too much. Warm up with a purpose. These are the things that I try to hit when I am giving a voice lesson. Okay, I'm trying to hit these things because they're important. All right. So SOVT is the first one. SOVT are semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. That's the they typically train your breath. We had a question about training. Can we talk about breath exercises from monumental sound here? And yes. So breath exercises should be the first one you do. It's a great way to lay the foundation for your practice. Start with SOVT. All that straw stuff you see online, that's SOVT. The little gadgets, the little whistle thing, you might know what I'm talking about, that's SOVT as well. Great for training your breath, training your mix, managing between registers, not pushing too much. The list goes on, okay? Sliding. Sliding is also a nice, gentle way to warm up. It's a great way to get through your whole entire range. You might start with a oh, go through the whole thing, and then you might want to do a ma, ma, ma. Slides are your friend. They help train your voice to transition from low to high. Low to middle, middle to high. It's very important to be able to do that. So when you sing, you don't have this weird part where you cannot connect the voice and it sounds off or breathy or whatever. That's the purpose of slides. You have to be able to slide. Vowels. Vowels are incredibly important. I think my next video is going to be on vowels. Most people do not normally have great singing vowels. Most of us speak like me. If I sang like this, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? That was not a good example. But the point is, it's wide. It's flat. A lot of our vowels are flat when we speak. They're pushed. We might have like a little bit of vocal fry. We're not using our air. So you really have to train your singing vowels so it becomes muscle memory. So you're not doing E anymore from here. E, you're doing E. And I'll make a whole video on that, but all of your vowels need to be trained so that when you sing, you automatically use singing vowels, which are taller and more relaxed than your speaking vowels, which are usually pushed and too wide, or your jaw. We use our jaws a lot when we speak, but when we sing, we want that to be relaxed. And the way to train that is to work on our vowels. So a good exercise would be mi, me, ma, mo, mu. Okay. All right. And really quick question. I've tried doing snake hissing sound practice for breathing. I find it boring and not very helpful. Got any recommendations? Thanks. Yeah, so hissing is fun. It's a good beginner way to get into breath exercises because if you can hold a hiss for a long time, then yeah, you're using your S sound to cause some resistance and you're having to engage your breath. That's a good beginner exercise. People generally, if they've been singing for a while, can move past the hissing and do something a little bit more difficult. Lip trills are obviously my favorite. I talk about them a lot. Not everyone can do them, okay? But they're the best because you're bridging that gap between sound and pitch and your breath work like you're doing it. You don't have to do like bridge that gap as much when you're doing hissing. You're not even making a sound when you hiss. So it's just not as direct correlation. So I prefer lip trills. They're classic. If you can't do a lip trill, I actually have a whole video on what to do instead of lip trills. But any if you just look up SOVT exercises, those are all to train your breath. And it's a great way to train your breath throughout your range because you're going to use different strategies with your breath throughout your range that you'll naturally figure out. Sounds like something just collapsed in my kitchen. Hopefully Jeff is okay in there. A little concerned. Okay, we're going to move right along. Great question. Y'all ask your questions in the chat. I love seeing your questions. All right. So we talked about vowels, twang, or resonance. Next, you want to tap into your resonance. Every song pretty much is going to have a point where you need to push it forward. Push isn't a good word, but even if I'm singing, I mean literally anything in your middle range or anything where you want the sound to be a little bit brighter, or I need to give y'all an example, huh? So even if I'm singing somewhere over the rainbow, sure, it might be nice and floaty, but I still want it to have that ping. I don't want it to be too somewhere over the rainbow. I need an element of forward. Or if I'm singing pop, I might want twang. So either way, you want to tap into twang, nasal resonance. So that would be like meow, 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 or nya, 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 or wah, 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 wah. Even no, 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 no. Those are all those resonance exercises. You want to add them. Add one. Add your favorite one. I have my favorites. I don't like all the resonance exercises out there. Boo. Anyway. All right, let's go to the next one. Agility. Y'all, agility is so important. There are too many people out there, me included for a very long time, who really don't have great agility when they sing. This is another one Cheryl Porter exercises are great for. You want to land on the note straight on, okay? It's a hard habit to break sometimes when you're used to singing, oh, say, can you, I'm sliding up. It's a very tricky habit to break. So you want to work on your agility. Oh, say, can you see by the door? Can you sing on short notes? Can you land straight on the note? It helps you predict the note in your head before you sing it, which is called audiation. It helps you plan your breaths. It helps so many different things. And then it'll just clean up, so it'll sound way more profesh. We don't want to be sliding, right? All right, moving right along. That would be the last thing, agility, because you're kind of warmed up, and agility can also help with like if you have a breathy voice, agility can help kind of help you with that chord closure, like ha 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 ha. All right. Here's the one that I wouldn't skip, but some people do, and I skip it sometimes in lessons because we just only have a half hour. But ear training. If you are not from a musical background, you're probably going to want some ear training. This can be as simple as do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and I automatically do the hand signs. You don't have to learn hand signs, but you might want to learn the do, re, mi's, as we call them. Why? If you can understand how a scale works, then you're going to not have to really practice intervals too much. You're just going to kind of understand how that sounds. And that's the simplest way I can put it. It's just, for instance, when I'm working with a child, we'll be singing harmonies in their first lesson because they'll just sing the do re mi's, and I'll be like, I'll sing do, you sing me, and they're already learning harmonies. You can do the same thing as an adult, and I just recommend sing do re mi. Some people learn it on numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll understand the scale as a singer without having to learn piano. I know, yes, what a relief. Okay, moving right along. All right, so more advanced agility would be a bonus, okay? If you're someone who wants to learn those, you know, I'm not the best with riffs and runs. I'm all right, I'll get it done. But if you want to be a singer who's really good at that, you're gonna have to kind of set some time aside. Guide tones, this would be more advanced if you are a jazz singer. So if you're a jazz singer and you want something more advanced, ask me about guide tones. Basically, it's once you understand the sound of a chord, picking out, the mi and the ti they're the 3 and the 7. That might be too advanced for some of you. Don't worry about it. That's like for my advanced people out there and people who sing jazz or not even just jazz influenced stuff. Okay. Uh let's see. Sight reading, if you didn't have that growing up, choir growing up, most people didn't, then see if you can do some sight reading. That would be combining, understanding rhythm and understanding solfege or pitches. So, what sight reading is when you just have a piece of music with no text or anything, or with text, sorry. But the intention is just to sight read it, just to look at it and go, "Oh, that goes da 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 da." And usually what you do first is you count the rhythm. Okay, I got the rhythm, then you say the words in rhythm, and then you figure out the solfege of it or the numbers for it, and then you try to put it together. That's how singers without a piano train their ear, and that's like what you could do if you wanted to really, really train. All right. Cool. I love the comment. Hey, Farrah, welcome, welcome, welcome. And think of practice as easy rather than a stressful mindset. Yeah, as I'm like, this is what you gotta do. Yeah, I would say, I was telling one of my students this too. You know what? If you like, let's say you just are feeling overwhelmed about practicing, I would rather you just sing through the song than get stuck on, I don't wanna do all this warm-up stuff. Whatever you have to do to just sing. And you can make it a game, you can test yourself on the lyrics, you can, play the song, sing along, and then pause the song and see if you can fill in the blanks. That's, like, one way you can practice and it can train your ear without going into all the nitty-gritty. That's a great thing to do, and that keeps it fun and easy. You're kind of weaning yourself off of singing along with the original. So that, I hope that helps. But if it starts to feel not fun, then yeah, just do your thing. Do your thing. But with that being said, if you guys would like, some guidance, if you're like, no, but tell me what are you listening for? What do you do? What's the deal? This is the full blown thing. Now when you practice a song, you're gonna break it up. So first, I would do the thing to do is practice the rhythm. So you're gonna look at the lyrics and go, okay, how does this go? In the shallow, in the you'll be amazed at what, oh my gosh, I don't know how that rhythm goes. You'll be amazed. And it's like once you nail down the rhythm, everything gets a little easier. It just gets easier and easier as you eliminate these things and they become more muscle memory. So then mark the breaths. So you want to put in your music or in the lyrics where the breaths are going to be, so that you can visually see it. Um a lot of people don't even print out their music. That's fine. You're going to want to breathe either just where it makes sense. If there's a comma, if there's a end of the phrase, punctuation, great places to breathe. At the end of the day, you just want it to be consistent and you want to be able to visually plan where your breaths are, because your breaths guide an entire phrase, not words, an entire phrase. So if I'm going, "Oh, say, can you see?" That was all one breath. It was all one phrase. It was all together. It was smooth. And then I know I'm going to breathe after "see," and I can like see that. Okay. So that would be the next thing, adding breaths. It can be such a relief to know, oh, I'll breathe here. I'll even write in my music big breath if I think that part needs a big breath, or small breath, whatever. All right. And my microphone was like cranked up so much this time. So that's the opposite of last week. Okay. Let's see here. Or a pitch. So you're going to want to isolate pitch by itself. I know it's tempting to just sing it all at once, try it all at once. Sing the pitches without the words. What? This is what I mean. So when you sing the pitches without the words, it's going to sound like this. I'm going to sing it on an ah. Ah, ah. I'm just thinking about the pitch. I'm just listening to myself and thinking, wait, is that right? And I'm not worried about the words. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm just focusing on the pitch by itself. And then I can notice, oh, that's really high. And I definitely want to like account for that. I'm going to open up more there. That kind of thing. So, yeah. Oh, we've got a question, then I'll be back to my list. Okay. Fender Hardy. Hi, welcome. Any recommended vocal coach in Atlanta, Georgia? Good question. Ooh, I definitely have pals in Atlanta. Ooh, I'm like, oh my gosh, who do I know in Atlanta? If you want to do in person, I don't know anyone personally who has a studio there, and I'm gonna regret saying that. If I think of it, I'll put it in the comments after this, because I'm gonna think of someone. And it also depends on what you want to do. Now, if you want to do online, I'm in New Orleans, but I teach everyone everywhere. So if you ever want to take a lesson with me, I do have room one-on-ones, and I have students who live in Atlanta, believe it or not. So yeah, good question. All right, looking at, oh, so we did pitch, words. Oh my gosh, the words. Y'all, it's being a singer is hard. The way you pronounce the words matter, okay? It matters. I use this example in the next video I'm going to do, but when you listen to "Don't Stop Believing," he's not, Steve Perry's not going, "Don't stop believing." He's not doing that for a reason. Keeping it open, keep throwing those consonants away. So not going don't, not crunching down on the end to stop believing. He's keeping it as open as possible so his voice can soar. Okay? So that's what we want to do. And generally that's what we do in singing. We keep things nice and relaxed and open. And a lot of people on their first lesson, trust me, I definitely did not open my mouth enough for years, feel really weird opening their mouth more, but it's just something you'll get used to. You just have to open your mouth a little bit more. You have to relax that jaw, relax that tongue more than when you speak, like you just went to the dentist. So, and the consonants are shorter in singing. You don't want to close down on the consonants, close down on those M's and N's. When we say an N consonant or an M consonant, they're nasal consonants. So what happens is that soft palate that we always talk about droops down when we close down on that. This is so much, guys. I feel like I'm just giving you everything I know about singing in an hour or so. If you feel overwhelmed, it's okay. Singing's hard. And if you pick up one thing that I told you today, that'll help, I'm sure. Just one thing, just take that and be happy with that, because one little thing can make a huge difference, huge, huge difference. So, um, good for you for keeping at it. Is tough stuff. Lastly, we've got vowel modification, which is where you're going to figure out where in the music are you going to want to change those vowels. So there's an example I'm going to give in my next video. Rolling in the deep. I didn't go deep, deep. I did deep. I went on the higher note. That's another thing. You typically do that when you sing higher. You might think a little bit more tall with those vowels. So instead of it becomes I look crazy. Okay, that's fine. So that's vowel modification. That's the same idea as that. Don't stop, stop instead of stop. That's vowel modification. You just find out what works for you. Okay, moving along. Cleaning it up. Cleaning it up. Okay, had a singer today. Every day, I'll have student, they pretty much know the song. They pretty much know it, but the little riffs and runs might be not right. Or, those songs where it's kind of different every verse, they'll kind of do a little twist on it or whatever. Might goes up on this one and down on this verse. Learning the nuances. That's always the last thing, kind of figuring out what did I skip? What did I miss? And then memorize it. Memorize it. If you memorize your songs, which a lot of us don't really take that time because we're busy, and you can definitely get very far with just learning it and reading it still. And if you're an older singer and you're like, "Hey, I don't have that anymore. I can't just memorize stuff." Don't worry about it. But it can really free you up so that you can just focus on singing and not be thinking about the words anymore. And a couple little bonus things about how to become a better singer without just focusing on singing here. One would be, make notes in your music or your lyrics that are in different colors for different things. So maybe for your rhythm notes, you write in with a red pen. With your vowel notes, you write in a different line or different spot with a green pen, maybe something like that. So really putting in all these little details, going one at a time, and then making notes. It's always better when you write it down. Always bring your pencil, okay? And oh yeah, so I'm gonna tell you a secret. So the students that I have who seem to grow really quickly, and it's not like across the board, I'm not trying to make a sweeping statement here, but usually if they are studying another instrument, or if they are also working on music production, maybe they're in the booth, they tend to grow a little quicker because they're immersed in music more than with just singing. They're practicing that rhythmic stuff, pitch stuff, ear training on their other instrument. So it all kind of works together. So if you're like, I don't know, I kind of want to learn piano too, piano would be the best in my opinion because it's so visual. You can see the whole things. But ukulele would probably be the easiest instrument in my opinion. And we've got a good comment from Nicole here. Hey, haha, I can memorize a song, but then I forget I've learned before that. Oh my gosh. I don't, I'm the same way. Once I learn something, yeah, I forget it once I don't need it anymore. Yeah, that's okay. It still counts that you learned a song and memorized it at some point. I mean, it's in you at that point. Even if you have to look at the lyrics down the road, it's in you. So you should rest assured. Okay, well, that was covering a few of the questions this week. And if you're still like, oh, what should I work on first? This is why I think warm ups are really pushed. And it's because, as you can see, as I was talking about earlier, when you learn how to do vocal warm ups, it's really training you to do all these different things that are really important for singing a song. And it doesn't always translate super easily, but it's the way to kind of learn that muscle memory. Okay, let's see here. So I think did we do this question? Okay, this is a good one. At Harshan W4N, you have excellent control over your larynx. Do you experience strain or feeling of throat being squeezed now? How to massage throat and control like you have? So this is a fun question. So here's how I answered it. I don't experience a lot of strain anymore unless I find myself singing on a tired voice, which I really try to avoid at all costs. The way I avoid strain while singing is by changing my breath flow, vowel shape, or placement for higher notes. It takes practice, but with repetition of vocal warm ups and exercises, it begins to feel second nature. Throat laryngeal massages can provide some relief for a voice that's feeling tight, but for me personally, it's more of a band aid. The way to avoid strain, in my opinion, is to train your voice to sing without pushing, reaching, squeezing for notes. Lip trills and straw exercises, hey, there's that again, are particularly great at training the voice because it's a gentle way to sing and helps train your breath control, which should be the main focus instead of relying on throat muscles. Hope that makes sense. So I hope that made sense to you guys. But basically, when you find yourself straining, you want to ask yourself, am I pushing from here? Or am I thinking about engaging my breath and finding the right placement, finding the right vowel? If you're feeling anything from here, you're going to get tired. And it's natural to get tired after singing for an hour. Okay, that's natural. But if you're getting tired really quickly, then you might be pushing a little bit. That could be one thing you're doing. So, focusing on those exercises and learning how to use technique, right? Yes. It's all very complicated, but we're trying to make it less complicated. I'm trying to give you everything here. Oh, gosh. All right. So we have another question. Okay. I think I did this. Oh, okay. This I'm going to talk about in a second. Okay. Okay, good. All right. So, yada, yada, yada. I think this is the last question from the week. Hey, shout out. And if you have a question, you're watching this later, please leave your question in the comments. I'd be interested to know your thoughts on getting good results in a danger area as a guy, roughly F4 to B4. Below this, it's easy enough to be chesty, and from C5, G5 feels fine in a thinner mixy sound. That in between area feels so awkward. Feels like the answer is just slightly less thin mix, but doesn't seem to work out. Woo, this is a heavy question. I had to think about this one. Basically, let me just put this simply here, what this person is asking, maybe to oversimplify, but there's an awkward part of his range, and it's sounding not as full or strong it's just not sounding connected. There's like a gap where these notes are maybe in sort of a passaggio, in a break where the voice just is transitioning and is just not sounding the way they want it to. There are so many reasons this could be happening. And so, without hearing this singer, I'm going to tell you all of the things you can try, okay, if this is going on. Sliding, creaking, brings the chords together. Modify your vowels. Maybe you need to open up those vowels more. Maybe you need those vowels taller. Maybe you need those vowels wider. That is something you'll have to figure out. Try sliding from or doing exercises from top down. Is that helping you? Or is bottom the top better? They do different things. Check your air pressure. Are you really pushing a lot of breath? Maybe you're even constricting. What's going on with the breath? Maybe you need to bring it down. Maybe you need to bring it up. Check, usually bring it down, but check the volume. What's the volume like? Check how much you're opening your mouth. You might need to open it more or less in that part of your voice. Are you using oral twang? Are you using nasal twang? If you're using too much nasal in that part of your voice, you might feel like it sounds weird. If you're not using enough nasal twang, then it might sound like I don't know, breathy. Now, you can do exercises like the bratty or nya nya nya. You can change the vowel to You can do gug 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 gug. The gug exercise you can do again. SOVT exercises are great for this. My favorite right now is the creak. I know meow 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 has been my favorite for a long time, but the creak, yeah. I always sound really crazy when I do that, but it's okay. You can be crazy with me and also do the creak. Okay, let's move on to one more comment that someone said in response to literally a very similar question. So, another thing you can try is using a game show announcer voice in that part of your voice. Like, look who we have here. That might help you. Or a lot of people, including me, recommend when you're going through your passaggio or you're going through an awkward part of your range, closed vowels. So doing E, sing it on a E. So let me think of a song that would go through my passaggio, maybe like feels like it was yesterday. Yeah. E. You know that voice teacher Tina, Belt with Tina or something? She recommends this as well. So when you're trying to belt out a song, you want to try it on an E vowel. Oh, do I have to do that in head voice? Hey, Tristan, welcome. Oh, sorry, I saw this kind of late. Do you have to do that in head voice? Oh, when you're doing like all these different exercises? That's a really solid question. Basically, when you are trying all of these things, I'll show you. Like sliding, you're gonna decide, okay? Are you gonna do or are you gonna do You're gonna decide if you want to do a more bright mixy sound or if you want to slide into head voice. It depends on what type of style you're doing. But either way, you're gonna slide through that part of your range. Creaking, that's pretty much mixing. That's a very mixy situation. Modifying vowels doesn't matter. It's just, your preference. You can use head voice or whatever you want to use. Doesn't really matter. Because I'm not sure if this questioner even specified which voice. I think he did want to do rock though. So in that case, it might be more belty, more mixy. And in that case, for that person who is trying to clear up that passaggio, it would be more the bratty, whiny stuff and things like that. Although that person might need to lift a little more. Maybe there's too much of that brattiness or too much nasal. So just that's why it depends on the style. All those exercises kind of work for head voice or mixed voice for the most part. Hope that helped. Yeah, but they're all good things to try no matter what you're singing. These are all great little exercises to do. Oh my gosh, I blabbed and blabbed. Any questions in the chat, guys? I got through all my questions of the week, and they were some good ones. I was honestly kind of nervous that I wasn't going to get through all of them, but I somehow did. We do have a Facebook group. Some of the lovely people in the chat are in our Facebook group, and it's always great to see everybody. I try to post pretty regularly in there, kind of different things from the YouTube channel, stuff from other creators or little anecdotes about videos. And it's where other people can post and talk about their singing journeys or cool stuff. Or somebody posted one of those new gizmos, the little whistle thing that creates a resistance and you like blow on it. Ooh, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but we kind of go over like different equipment and try to have fun in there, It's supposed to be fun. So yeah. But sorry, I had a moment. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the chat ski. Yeah, this is really fun for me. And I just love talking about singing. It's such a broad topic. Sometimes I wonder, am I going to run out of stuff to talk about? And without fail, there's a new question every week, that I might not have seen before. So, how often do we practice? An hour or a day? An hour or a day and take breaks? Hey, Pharaoh, great question. So I recommend starting out if you haven't really practiced before. I say like start out with 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And similar to working out, maybe leave off weekends or do whatever your thing is, maybe like 5 days in a row, and then sort of build it up. Now, the rule of thumb I like to use is practice between 30 minutes to an hour once you build up your stamina a little bit, but really be aware of your vocal usage, how you feel. You're definitely not going to want to sing full voice the entire time you practice unless you're preparing to sing full voice or mostly full voice for a longer performance and you're trying to build that up. For most singers, I would say just 30 minutes to an hour is good enough. And you're gonna kind of like when we were talking about all this different stuff on like what to work on, a lot of that stuff does not require you to even sing. Like practicing the rhythm, you're basically just speaking the rhythm, or if you're doing SOVT, that's more it's singing, but it's a little more gentle. So that's why practice doesn't have to be like full blown. Anyway, hope that answered your question. You mentioned just earlier nasal or oral twang. Can you demo the difference, please? Yes, Nicole. Yes, I love this question. You're going to find out why. Okay. So, nasal twang is when you can feel it in your nose. Like you can push it in your nose. So, it would be I'm trying to think of a phrase. Never mind, I'll find. It's not very flexible. In fact, I usually say if you're going to use nasal, it's going to be on a sustaining note because it doesn't move very well. You hear my voice like cracking and stuff. So oral twang is better for more agility, and honestly, I just like oral twang much better. Oral twang is similar to that Aussie twang or New Zealand twang. It's brighter and it's more here. And it actually requires you to lift your soft palate. Ah! So when you do like a cry sound, that's more oral twang. Nasal twang is the yeah. They're two different things. I prefer oral twang for the reasons I mentioned, but sometimes if you want to beef up your belt and you're sustaining a note, nasal twang is really great for that. Like so, someone like you. Maybe you want to add a little bit of nasal to that type of thing. Hope that helped. Okay. Most female singers do vocal growl. Have you done that vocal style? Honestly, that's not growl's not a term that I've really nailed down. Like growl, I'm not sure if that includes what in the grit family, the rocker family, that includes. So I'm assuming like "Ooh, rah," like that would be like vocal fry, but then like the false folds one, the ones up here. Sure, I don't use it. I mean, I've just used it to answer questions on this channel. But I certainly don't sing like that. The most grit I use is if I'm doing like all of these lines across my face, tell you the story. Okay, if I'm going like higher, if I'm doing like tell you the story of who I am, it'll be like a nasal something like that. That's the most like grit that I use typically. Um, I don't know what the Christina Aguilera growl is. Is that I don't know what that is. Maybe her, yeah. Tell you the story of who I am. That's kind of like this weird like thing. That's a good look. Anyway, good grief. So use music and or great question. Sorry, I moved right along. I'm like okay, next question. So use music and or piano to learn the note pitch the way we read music. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you asked this. So earlier I was talking about nailing down the pitches, and you can do this a couple different ways. Not everybody can read music, obviously, and you really don't need to read music. But if you can't read music, you're really going to want to develop your ear even more, and you're going to really rely on your ear to hear the pitches accurately. Either way, you got some practicing to do. You've got some development maybe to do. Um and you can either lean more on the ear or you could lean on trying to learn the notes and reading the notes and plunking them out on the piano. Either way, I mean, there's many different ways to learn. Some people have synesthesia and they can listen to it and see the notes in colors. Whatever works for you. But either way, you just want to find the way that you can isolate the pitches and learn the pitches by themselves and gain confidence on the pitches. So it's like, yes, I know exactly what pitch comes next. I know how long to hold the pitch, and that's the idea. Either way, you just want to be able to learn the pitches somehow, whether it's by ear, by slowing it down and just playing it and then repeating it, or if it's actually learning how to read sheet music. Y'all, I can read sheet music, but I choose to listen more than anything. Like as a singer, we have the benefit of doing that. So anyway, I'm trying to find here's the one I'm looking for. Sorry. Oh gosh. Anyway, Thank you guys. These are all really great comments. I hope that answered your question, Pharaoh. That was an excellent question. I've loved these, you guys. And if you find this video helpful, it's really great for channels, like smaller channels, and you can like the video if you're the target audience, if you actually do enjoy it, so that YouTube can push the videos to the right group of people. And I don't know if anybody else has a YouTube channel that they're trying to grow, but what happens is, you have your friends and family watch your videos and they might not be the target audience, and then the algorithm kind of gets confused. So it really helps me out if you're a musician or if you're learning to sing, if you like the video, so it knows, oh, this is the group that we're pushing this to. So thank you in advance. No pressure, but thank you in advance. And that goes for like all of your favorite creators or creators you like. When you like their videos, it helps push it to the right people. So anyway, woo. The next video I'm gonna make is going to be on vowels, and I'm excited about it because it's something that I talk about a lot, but it'll be nice to actually have a video to refer to it. The last one was about overthinking, and that was fun. That was interesting. So, most honestly, the big overarching theme is usually try this stuff, see if it sticks, and have fun. Just always have fun and don't give up. Just please don't give up, because you might have those ebbs and flows in singing, but everyone does, and it's normal, and it's just about consistency and sticking with it. I've had students who I honestly, it's better for them to just kind of wing it all the time and kind of be free as a bird and just try different things, and they don't really stick to a routine. That is so much better than giving up. And they always improve. They always improve. Even if they don't do all the things on my checklist, they always improve. They always improve. If you stick with it, you're going to improve. It might feel awkward. It's just like working out. It's like doing anything is better than just giving up, which guilty. I do not like working out. I'm trying to like it, but yesterday I made a post in the Facebook group about how I overthink working out just as much as some of my students overthink singing. And I was talking to my boyfriend. He's like, just work out in the morning. Just work out before you do anything else. And that was so helpful, because sometimes you just need somebody to be like, just try this, just do that. And so anyway, sometimes that's a benefit of voice lessons too, is just having someone give you a task, like work on this week. Great. Just do that one thing. Whenever I have a lesson, I try to, by the end of the lesson, go, okay, work on this one thing. And I try not to make it something that's going to be unattainable. Like, it's going to be very attainable. It's going to move the needle. I want to move the needle. I want you to feel better about your voice. I want you to enjoy singing more. Yada, yada, yada. I'm on my soapbox. Anyways, if y'all have any questions, I'm probably going to wrap this up in a little bit. So if you're thinking, no question is a dumb question. Okay. Had some crazy ones, and it can be really anything music related. So I'll give you my best answer that I can come up with. But we've had some wild questions in the past, and I'm not afraid of any musical questions. So thank you. Thank you all for being here very much. And again, if you want to join the Facebook group, let me know. I do not want to have an email list that I'm emailing people all the time. It's just a way for me to kind of keep in touch and, help people, and people help me all the time. I'm like, hey, what kind of microphone should I get? And there's tons of musicians in the Facebook group, so if you're interested. Or, of course, you can always take a lesson with me. I get emails and I go through it. They go straight to me, and I read them and I'll go, okay, yeah, I have time this week and have room in my schedule. So anyway, There's a few spots. There's a few spots available. You can snatch them up. Love having singers from really all over the world. Literally all over the world. For a long time, I had a lot of people in South Africa. Right now, I've got someone in France, Singapore, California, um, New Mexico. I mean, they're all over the place, and it's really fun. It's really great for me to hear everybody's unique voices and accents. It's awesome. It's just so much fun. I love all my students. And anyways, so I'm probably gonna leave soon, but I really love this, guys. And I hope you have the best rest of your evening. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to come and see us again sometime because I'd love to see you. And I want to hear what's going on and get some updates because I remember people and I want to know how it's going. I want to know how it's going with you. So anyway, have a good night and we'll see you next time. Bye.